you. Extra light on. Something? No? Yeah. Oh well. Wrong one. Right my eyeball. There we go. There we go. Sky, send you a card. Sky. I wonder what will send me. They sent me a card. I don't know. It'll square me out. You can probably still see me. No. It's not coming up. Oh, there it is. I still don't know what it means. I'll check on it. I'll check on it later. How rude am I, right? I'm gonna read a book. This book is so thick. I had stopped reading it for a minute. I started reading it when I was it was like the third book I had read like this week, but it's the start of one, but I just couldn't get into it yet. I gotta wait. I'll read it now. Sort of. Anyway, it doesn't really jive with what all the excitement going on in the news with Trump and it looks like turning up to be an FBI investigation. So it's pretty interesting. This might be the first time. Who knows it? I don't know if it's the first time in history that we had seemed like such a crook. Uh, I think that we're gonna find out. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I don't like my hair. I just braided. I just did it so it won't be so messy and tangly. But we're gonna find out what is really going on. I really want to know about what's going on with Russia and the Trump people and with Trump himself. It looks like the money all leads to different banks associated with Russia. Some even maybe associated with China. It looks like they're using the money to buy real estate in New York and other cities, bringing up the real estate price, leaving empty spaces there. So if they invest so much that they could stay in the United States for extended time. So, which it seems like if anybody would have to worry about letting in spies and terrorists, it would probably be that Kushner, because he went to China. He's trying to sell places in New Jersey. He got stuck with that 666 building. And right before the market dropped it. But he should have known to pay that much for that building. Why were they selling that building? I mean, even if they were selling it for. But anyway, he got the building, and it's not zoned for residential. It's office buildings, which I assume is harder to get. When a lot of the type of business that it's really in New York, a lot of money business, a lot of banks, stock market, a lot of stuff that have to do with commodities, in the fashion industry, and just everything comes in and support. So it's very lucrative area, but a lot of money now is going offshore. We don't export as much as we import, so so a lot of our business, you like with Comcast, like you hear people like they're saying, "Oh, I'm in Colombia," or I'm in I'm on this part of the country. They're like if they're working everywhere except for United States. It's not because we're such a big global income. It's because we have so few running so much, and or so well and we have the filthy rich, very greedy in wanting more and more and more. You know, I remember like sometimes we used to see like in my neighborhood like in '70s you would see like somebody and you wouldn't know they was a millionaire. They're wearing like well, I didn't know at the time golfer pants, but they were like wearing some like crazy design pants and you know and like you knew like the four pair of pants that you seen them in, but it wasn't me, and it wasn't because I didn't have like good shoes, and had the right equipment for the weather, clothes wise, and you know, it's just that they weren't wearing designer stuff. They wasn't flashing Rolex. They wasn't, um, you know, flaunting their like like I know some people they used to think jewelry deteriorated so much, just like cars, you know. But if you get a car and you're good at keeping it up yourself or whatever, and it's your hobby, yeah, you can, I guess, make some, but those like what you see a lot of rappers invested in. This wasn't what they invested in. So anyway, ouch, hurt my ankle. This is the ankle I had hurt already. I didn't mean to be sitting on it. Poor ankle. Let's turn it to but it looks like we're gonna. I don't know what Trump was talking about in one of his tweets. It seems like um, he really missed the boat on what went on with that shooting when they shot 5 people. Um, where the Republicans are gathered for a practice baseball game. It's sort of weird that we didn't hear any discussion about gun laws. Um, this guy had like pretty much a military gun. I guess they were lucky that this guy um, didn't have more people out in the field or more people that was around that area. Or I guess they were lucky in that area because it could have been more concentrated with people. Um, so, but it sounds like the Republicans are trying to say something like the Democrats are festering it up. You know, the Republicans, they're running both houses, and you got the president of the United States. So, um, and the president usually in their speeches, like their inauguration speeches, the speech they have with the FBI, and the speeches that they have with other people, they usually are more um, uh, they usually give a better morale speech, letting you know what their goals are, um, um, in way of like what their plans on the future, what they're going to be working for. Um, you don't get any of that with the president. We get a lot like, oh, I promised this when I was on the campaign, but we don't have any substance. And so I think um, that the problem is that they don't understand the Republicans. I think they understand they don't care how um, their policies and their ideas is not benefiting the United States. That it's not um, always somebody else you could point the finger at. Maybe sometimes, there could be some things that they could tweak because I know they're not perfect. Because if they're perfect, they wouldn't be human. And I have my theories on some of them look like little aliens, like Cessa. Um, I don't know why I got on. I'm a little sleepy. Probably won't be able to read tonight. We'll see. It's been a long day. It rained, which is good. I started eating some of my tomatoes that came up. Oh, We'll see. We'll see. But I think the main thing with the Trump, I think what's gonna really get him, it's like his tweets, and everybody, the Republicans and Democrats, and I think because the Democrats had said something to him that, like they're like, oh, they just trying to do like we do and fuck them over, you know, um, but his interview that he did with he cannot not tell on himself because they're so used to thinking that their cons and their lies, and their trying to cheat people out of their money is because the other people are fools or they're dumb, uh, or stupid, when they're just thieves. And and there's a lot, and the people that are stealing from them, there are a lot of honest people in the world, and they just amazed sometimes at how somebody that seems to have so much money and supposed to be so much in control could have the government and even his business in hindsight in chaos, because otherwise they wouldn't be filing bankruptcy and not paying the construction people or other employees. They would manage their money better. But right now, but if it wasn't for probably the Democrats, right now we would be switching over and learning like Russian and Chinese in school right about now. I think I'm gonna go to sleep. I don't. I don't think anything's gonna happen this weekend. Um, we're gonna find out. I wonder how long this investigation is going. But every day it seems like it's like an onion they're peeling back of corruption of the sea. And he started off his presidency in lies and exaggerations, and just really being very that's what I mean by his speeches. Is he gave his speech, I think it was in the FBI building, and right in front of a memorial that honors fallen FBI workers. Um, couldn't figure out which. I'm sleepy, and he didn't address where he was at. Instead, he was going on still about the side of the crowd, and he has issues, and we'll see. Hopefully, they'll all the Republicans stay together and they'll all hang together. I think we're having a few more elections, and I heard some Democrats and this one the black person also, two separate people, but both of them. Well, one wasn't black, one was white, but they were saying something like, "Oh, well, just don't vote for a Democrat because you want Republicans out." But yeah, that is a damn good reason to vote Democrat, is because you don't like the policies and you can see where they're going. The healthcare plan, they're not even having the courtesy to see the bigger picture, that it's not going to involve them as much as it's going to involve the citizens of the United States, and that they should have people there that have experience with understanding the budget, the finances, but because they're trying to be, because they have this thieving, corrupt, um, narcissistic, um, double-binding hypocrite ways, that and they're paranoid. It's a fact that they can't work well with others. They're not working well. They see themselves outside of the government when we need them to run the government. They see that it's trying to pit, the Republicans against the Democrats, making everything very personal. Um, it's a psychotic president we got that's been controlled and manipulated uh, uh, by Putin, I think, through his financials, through Trump's financial misbehavior and mischievous types of money management, and his uh, example that he having the White House, that the way he runs things is chaotic. You can't be having people hide in a little room and you're making policies for the rest of for everybody. It's just not going to work when you're not involving lawyers. You're not I don't hear about him having a constitutional lawyer in there. Make sure that they're dotting all their I's and T's. You don't hear about them having a financial advisor in there if they really want to budget, have the budget. Because like one man it can't run a whole cruise ship. That's why the captain has other people underneath him. That's why even a plane is not going to get flown by one person. That's why you have a co-pilot. It takes it takes it takes people that are experienced, that studied and enlightening in certain areas. And Trump and well, Flint's out of there, but Flint still. Um, Manning, uh, a few of his other people that work for him, his son Kushner, son-in-law, all of them, what's running them is the almighty dollar and trying to please the people that lobbied special interests that pay for him to campaign. Anyway, let me get off here. I think I'm too stupid to read this book. We'll see. I think we're gonna have an exciting the other half of this month. We'll see. We'll see what they find. Ah.